I hardly dare tell you this, but I think spiders bite me.
Oh God, what? What do you mean?
Well, this week something's bitten me on the foot, and it's not the first time it's happened. And I've always had a sneaking. It doesn't react like a mozzie bite does. It reacts in a different way, and I think it's a spider's bite. I think, well, I know spiders bite. Well, we won't talk about it because you don't like the.
That's just the most horrific thing I've ever heard. I prefer to think it's a horsefly bite, Judith. Welcome to Own It, Your Business and Your Life, with Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. In this podcast, we're going to cover everything you need to embrace to become a successful entrepreneur, marketing, money, and much, much more. How to create a business doing just what you love. How to own it, your business and your life. This one will be fast, funny, feisty, and very lively. So sit back and enjoy the show. Yes, well, morning, Judith. How are you this morning?
I'm all right, Nicola. How are you?
Well, I'm all right, apart from the fact that autumn is most definitely coming on, isn't
I am looking at some dribbly little bits of rain. Yes, I wasn't going to mention it if you didn't, but yes, you're right.
And the good news is that the rambling rose at the back of my neighbour's garden is having a final flourish, and they are absolutely gorgeous pink roses of a lovely untidy kind, cottage garden roses.
I do know what you mean by untidy. I like my nature untidy.
Yeah, it's very good, and I'm secretly trading some of his tendrils down my fence,
as it were. Yes,
I don't know if he knows that, but yeah, no, it's been a fantastic week for me. Lots of client inquiries. I definitely noticed everyone's back to work, and the old school term has started. Lots of diary bookings, and I actually even got a phone call from a client out of the blue, a potential.
I know who it was as well.
I know you. I thought you would know who it was.
Yes, yeah, very exciting. Yeah.
It took me by surprise, that did, a telephone call.
Yeah, I said, did she answer the phone? I was amazed that you answered the phone. I was quite impressed.
Well, it's actually my Skype number, and it rings on my computer, so I find that easier to answer than the actual telephone.
So do I, Nicola. I only have a Skype-in number as well.
Yes. So why that is. So how's your week been, anyway?
Well, pretty much the same as yours by the sound of it. We're back at school. I'm ready. I'm excited. I've had a haircut like you do at the beginning of term. I'm very much enjoying my colouring in hobby. The last podcast that we did, I was in the run up to the summer party, and at the summer party, somebody brought me. They took me at my word from Facebook, and they brought me the colouring in book and the colouring in watercolour pencils. Oh, I am having the time of my life. Who knew?
There's quite a lot of this colouring going on. Everywhere I look, people are at it.
Love it.
Yeah, very nice. And I had, talking of hair, I actually answered my Skype phone to, well, it was a booked potential client call. And she said, oh, no, you've got to put the video on. I want to see you. And I thought, oh, God, I've got my two curlers in, my friend. And I said, oh, do I have to? I've got my curlers in. And she said, oh, yes, go on, it'll be fine. And I put myself on video. And then her husband walked past in the background and said, morning.
No, I don't allow video under any circumstances.
No, really, it was quite funny, and I caught myself 3/4 of an hour later spouting off about something marketing orientated in a very intense fashion, and I looked at myself and I saw myself on the camera. I thought, you look so bizarre. Hey, it doesn't stop what's in my brain coming out of my brain, does it? A couple of curlers.
No, indeed, and I would be respectable right at this red hot second on video, but I can't guarantee that on ad hoc moments.
No, absolutely. So what's fueled your fire then this week?
Oh, lots of new clients. I had a price increase, as I always do, on the 1st of September, which makes the 31st of August always a very exciting day because people pile in. and send me lots of money and sign up and get excited. My website went down in the middle of it, and
No.
it was a bank holiday in the UK, and I was entertaining. So actually, I might not have known if I were not such a digital addict and had come and checked that everything was all right. And somebody said, "Do you know your website's down?" Which meant people couldn't sign up for a very brief window. I got onto the support line in Toronto. Don't think they were on a bank holiday that day. Good news. And they sorted me out very quickly, back online and business as ever. What I think is really interesting, and this plays into internet marketing principles quite handily for you, is that if you give people a deadline, it helps them decide, doesn't it? So I think the price went up at midnight technically, and I think people were still signing up at 10 to 11.
Oh, it's very funny, isn't it? That works.
Yeah. And actually, there was no, I didn't, last year, normally what I do is I feature a client every single day for 31 days in August and say, this is the calibre of human being you're going to be working with, and the price goes up on the 1st of September, get in while you can. This year, I think I might have done that once a week.
I didn't very often.
Yeah, I put out one newsletter that said, price is going up on Monday. I'm not going to tell you again, get in if you want it. I was quite sort of assertive with them this year, and they did. I tell you what's interesting from our perspective, where we talk about marketing oodles on this podcast, is that two of them clearly signed up from my list, but that was the only relationship I'd ever had with them. So it was completely one-sided. They weren't my friends on Facebook. They'd never replied to an email, never sent me a comment, never engaged with me, nothing. The first thing they did was send me a year's fee. Well, it's just. Some of the other ones I did know, and I knew they were going to convert at that point. And some of the others I wasn't surprised, because we have a sort of little relationship on Facebook. But two complete strangers were in the list, at least two actually.
It is astonishing, isn't it? I'm going to tell you about a similar thing later on in the podcast. But that's when you know your marketing's working, when complete strangers come and trust you enough to sign up to something you're making an offer for.
Well, I think they've probably been on the list quite a long time. I think that's interesting. One of the other sign-up-ees, if that's the right word, had worked with me in the 30-day challenge in June 2014. So he'd taken 15 months to make up his mind that he was ready to work with me and pay me some money, which is absolutely fine. If you have a business that's in its medium and long-term flow, if you're a startup and I told you had to wait 15 months for a client to pay you any money, you'd wither on the vine.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to, which feeds into what's fueled my fire this week, because it's, I listened to the foundation have been doing a launch, very nice launch. What a thing to model it would be. Just massive value. And what they did was they did a webinar called How to Make $1,000 in One Weekend, which basically would give you the money to pay the first instalment of the foundation payment. So it's
lovely. Not the first model we've seen of that. No, it happened in Profit Accumulator as well. Nice.
And what they did, and the fascinating thing has been watching everyone's reactions to it. And I was sitting there listening to it. I don't know why I was listening. I think I was bored one evening, and I was listening to it, and they basically unveiled this fantastically simple business idea that anybody, literally with a bit of gumption, could go and do tomorrow. And I'll tell you what it is, and then later on in the project update, I'll tell you how I did with it. Basically, you find a niche or three. They suggest you pick three to start with, and you go and you type in, for example, divorce lawyer Crawley. So you make it geographic and specific, and you make it quite, not just lawyer, but divorce lawyer, for example. And you make it a high ticket item where the sale is going to be over £1,000 or dollars, whatever your currency is. So, for example, it could be kitchen design, or divorce lawyer, or cosmetic dentist, or gynecology, anything that's a high ticket item.
Yes.
And then you literally you right click on every organic search result on the front page of Google, and you open up the website, because those people are getting traffic. The first three are getting the most traffic, but all of the people on the first page of Google are pretty much what you'd research if you were looking for, say, LASIK eye surgery. You'd probably look at all of the websites on the front page of Google. And then you look at the websites and you see if they've got a pop-up box collecting names and emails for information, in return for giving information. I'm not joking, Judith. I did 50 cosmetic dentists on the South Coast, and not one of them had a pop-up box of any kind. So then you approach them and you offer to put a bit of lead generation software on their website, and it will take them an hour of their time just to review your design and the content of the pop-up. And, then you rent it to them for the next year for £100 or £200 a month. And
rent it to them.
Rent
Gorgeous.
it to them, yes. And all it involves, and for anyone who knows a bit of tech, this involves...
But sorry to interrupt you, but that's a variation on software as a service.
It is, yes. And I was just sitting there thinking, oh my God, because I, of course, drive traffic to websites that don't get any traffic and produce leads from that traffic. This is a fantastic bolt-on for me for websites.
Well, it's also the opposite way round. You go to websites that are getting traffic but are missing a trick.
Absolutely. So I love it. It's a lead product for me.
Love it. Yin and yang. Super.
I just sat there. But I'm going to tell you my results later on. But what actually happened was that then people are talking about it in the sidebar as the webinar's going on. And they're also talking about it in the foundation membership area. And there are some people who cannot just do it. They have to know the ins and outs of a cat's arse before, exactly how it's going to work, exactly what they're going to say to the client, exactly what the client does.
Yes.
Instead of just testing it and trying it out, they are prevaricating for a million reasons. And there are other people who are saying, well, isn't this a bit immoral to sell some people things that they could pay any developer to get done for a few £100? Yes, but they're not, are they? So, and they don't know how to, and they don't want to. They don't want to get involved with that. So, it was so interesting watching them. 95% of people come up with reasons why it wouldn't work.
I have been thinking recently that when I write my autobiography, it will be called "Can We Just Crack On?"
Yes, that's brilliant.
Yeah, crack on, And actually, I'm going to tell you about Sue, who went to Joanna Martin's speaking gig over the weekend and has made her first video this morning. I mean, that's cracking on.
You've got to crack on. You've got to crack on in spite of yourself. And that feeds into my word of the week. So there we go.
Yeah, good.
But first, a word from our sponsors. Are you sick to death of all the hyped up quick riches and push button offers out there for making money online? Well, the Fast Start Masterclass will teach and mentor you how to create your own successful online business in under 4 weeks. But you will have to do some work. The most important thing you need to know about us is that we've made a great full-time living working part-time from home for nearly 20 years now. We've also taught many hundreds of people to do the same. Our training is 100% money-back guaranteed. If you follow our simple system, you will get up and running with your new online business in under 4 weeks. You'll get access to everything you need to get started. Strategic planning tools, detailed training videos, weekly live support video webinars. You get your questions answered live, and we've also got a private online support group 24/7 365. Join the Fast Start Masterclass and we guarantee that you'll be up and running within 4 short weeks. Just visit thebusinesssuccessfactory.com to find out more. So that's Fueled by a Fire. What's our client challenge of the week, Judith?
Okay, well, it's a moral dilemma.
Oh, I like a nice moral dilemma.
What happens in your business, what happens in my business, and what happens in any of the businesses of anybody that's listening if they don't believe in what their client is selling, or they don't like what their client is selling, or they don't like their clients, or they can't get on board in some way or another? So you mentioned e-sticks. Was it you? Did you say e-sticks?
Yeah, e-cigs.
Those are the things for cigarettes, aren't they?
They are. And when I was at Raw, we had an e-cig client who was doing monstrous amounts of money.
Yeah. Okay, so there's an example. Cancer cures was another one. Angel healing. What happens if you don't believe in some element of, if you're not fully on board? So, for instance, as an example, and I know he listens, your lovely concrete client.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you saw my joke over the weekend, and so did he, and he took it in good heart. But,
all the jokes.
You've done very well with that, because, frankly, that's quite a dull topic. Not, of course, if you're in the industry or like concrete. And what I love about people is how many different fascinating hobbies they had. But I once had a client in my early days who was a project manager, and I remember thinking, oh, this is so dull. I did come to learn that project managers are absolutely vital human beings if anything is to happen, but I couldn't get excited about helping my project manager become a better project manager.
Yeah.
So here we go. So what happens if you can't be fully congruently all in with the client work that you're doing?
I think it depends what you need to be doing with them. For example,
I agree. I think the answer is it depends. I think you're absolutely right, Nicola.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I hated the eSig account when we first had it, but now I've just
Why?
because I felt it was just sorry, Judith, it's these recorded announcements. I just cannot stop them. Right, it's because I felt it was, it was basically selling cigarettes. And
so just another way to get people hooked on something that you disapprove of.
Yeah, especially as they're so spangly looking, and they've got all the there's the gadgetry and everything. But since I found out they're 95% safer than cigarettes and smoking, and lots of people use them to give up, I've had a complete 100.
Well, you know what I like about that story is it was prejudice to begin with, but once you informed yourself, you realised you could change your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a bit of an issue with things like angel healing and longevity. Chanting and things like that, and I'm on the fence about all the Eastern disciplines and spiritual.
Does it matter? Does it matter? Because your angel healer client's got it's got 6-figure audience, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Does it matter? Does it matter? And that's not actually harming the world, is it? Angels.
I think that's actually you've hit the nail on the head right there. Okay. Is this harming anyone? No, it's not. Unless you call taking their money and when they're in a vulnerable place emotionally harming them. I don't think it is. I think it's offering some sort of support. No worse than buying a book would be.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in the olden days in accounting, we used to talk about a product being a widget, which is a unit. And actually, we would get excited about the product if it made money, even if we couldn't get excited about the product, if that makes sense. So where are you on concrete?
Oh, I'm firmly ensconced in Barrett. What's the word? I can't think of the right word. I'm good on concrete because it's a very, very vital service that Nick does. That people send him bits of their crumbling bridges and buildings, and he analyses them and sends it. Tells them what to do with it. And also,
poor old sausage, he had to put up with quite a lot of jokes on Facebook over the weekend. Did you see the one that somebody said something about, does it increase vulnerability if there are bodies buried in the concrete or something?
I haven't seen that. I bet that's Steve Blom, isn't it? He's the one.
Yeah, I think it could have been. Yeah, it was very funny.
Got a great sense of humour. He's a friend of mine from the cruise, and he's so dry and wry. It's hilarious. But he's the one who said, "Do you get to use the ethical bribe as a doorstop?" He thought that the block of concrete was the ethical bribe. Hilarious. Yeah. But coming back to the topic, although we could joke about concrete for a long time, it really, for me now, it depends on how much input I'm having into the business. Because if they want me to advise on marketing and whether they should have an ebook and a webinar and things, I can't get excited anymore about marketing things I don't believe in. And that's becoming true of things like coaching and consulting as well, because, the client has to believe in their own business, and then I will help them 1,000,000%. But if they're asking me to get passionate about their business and make all the decisions, which a lot of clients do, when they pay you a lot of money and they look to you to make the decisions, I find it very difficult when I don't believe in the topic.
Yeah.
So, but running Facebook ads and traffic and stuff, it's nice and impersonal, so I don't have a problem with it. But I would also, Facebook imposes some moral guidelines. You're not allowed to market MLM. You're not allowed to market supplements and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Or cigarettes or gambling or guns.
Two things of which I happen to be in, not cigarettes or gambling or guns, but supplements and MLM. Right, I'm going to tell you what my difficulties are. They've never been, I think this is true to say, about what somebody does. My difficulties are often, can I help this person? And the strategy I've developed of late is, well, there was one guy who wanted to join my group on Monday, and I put him through severe interrogation by email for several days, and he convinced me in the end that I could help him, so I took his money. But there was one lady that called me once. I couldn't achieve any rapport or understanding with her at all, and that was the shortest phone call I've ever had. And the other difficulty that I've had is where people have 100% bought into trainings that I don't believe in, and they're going to build their business model using.
Yes, that's awful, isn't it? When they've
That's very
spent a lot of money on something and you just know it ain't going to work.
Yeah.
Is
That's a tricky one for me. I hope for the best, but I don't expect it, to be honest.
And it's not even that the training isn't going to work. It's just the training is unlikely to work for that particular person because I've had this when there is an internet marketing guru who shall remain nameless who's got a really great system if you follow his system to the letter. If you deviate from his system, he hasn't got the coaching skills to coach you on anything. All he can do is help you if you follow his system. And sometimes I hear of people who I've been, nurturing and thinking they were really, didn't have, this is hilarious as well, like nurturing because I didn't think they had any money and I was trying to guide them along the least expensive route to success. And then they pitch up and tell me they've given this internet guru $5,000.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's a big challenge and a regular one in my life, actually.
Yeah. That is really, really tough, isn't it? And then you've got to try and gently encourage them to make the most of the purchase they've made because it's very unlikely they're going to get a refund, while helping them to try and pick out the bits that are going to be helpful but not disparage their purchasing decision or even their business.
And just while your whole body is screaming, why on earth didn't you ask me last week before you got your credit card out?
Yeah, really. They didn't ask you because they knew you'd say no, and that was their hope gone.
I know, and so then they're spouting this gibberish at me that they've learned, and my whole body is going, I don't think I can sit and listen to this. That's quite difficult for me. I'm
laughing in horror.
I'm often wrong. Not about that one, to be honest, but I'm often wrong about people. I'm quite a poor judge of character. My first impressions are usually wrong, and so if I sometimes think I'm not sure I can help this person, or I'm not sure I like this person, they often turn into my favourite people.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. So some clients put me through a baptism of fire. And so there's lots of heart sink moments, and these days I just notice them without getting overexcited about it. And sometimes if I have a sort of formally very serious corporate type, I feel a bit scared sometimes. I think, I don't know that I'm going to be able to give value to this person. But actually it's all needless because at the end of it, I know it's gone great. But so there are anxieties and worries various in this question, really, to do with, what if we're all not on the same page? And of course, we're not. We can't be, can we?
And it's like I have this dilemma now because I've been doing this 6 months, this Facebook ads now. It was probably more, isn't it? 9 months. And I'm trying to work out what makes a good client. And a good client for the Facebook business is one I can get not only cheap clicks for and reasonably priced leads for, but then, it's that can then convert the leads into sales. They have to be able to convert the leads into sales. In fact, I'm giving them a right grilling about that now because for me, it's no good just taking someone's money and sending them a load of traffic, even if it converts to leads, which is ostensibly the end of my bit of the bargain. If they can't convert, I end up feeling bad that they've spent money with me and they haven't turned it into sales. So I'm taking a bit of too much responsibility as usual.
Yeah.
But I just can't be taking someone's money and watching them pour it down the pan. I just can't.
And why can't they convert, Nicola?
It's because, Judith, they didn't have, I'm coming to realise they didn't have a proven conversion method of turning leads into sales before either. So okay. I'm starting to look now for clients who are businesses who have demonstrated that they can.
I know what you're saying. You're saying that they're desperate for income, and so they think Facebook might be worth a try.
Might save them, yes. Yeah. But they haven't got any proven method of turning sales. And then the other challenge I have is that sometimes, people come from an internet marketing background and they're used to getting joint venture traffic or cheap leads from another source, for example, solo ads, and they come to Facebook and they end up with, £4 leads where they were used to getting them for, say, £1 a pop, but they don't wait long enough to convert those leads and see if those leads will turn into longer lifetime value customers. That's another challenge for me as well.
But if at £4, they're presumably selling them something more than that, aren't they?
Well, I'm paying £12 to £25 for my leads, but I'm selling them a $9,000 package over.
A £4 would be worth it for a lead for me as well.
Absolutely, yeah. You have to know your numbers, and sometimes you think people are going to know the numbers. So I'm really going through a very rigorous weeding out process at the interview stage, because I don't want to be in a position where I'm taking money from people who I don't believe it's going to turn into more money than they're spending.
Yes, although you can't tell, that's the point, can you?
Well, you can't all the time. No, you can't. So now it's a moral dilemma of how you run your business, and I don't know. I just can't sleep at night if I'm doing something that isn't working for someone.
Yeah, and I think that there is what we're talking about again is discomfort. And that's this whole question really, is if there's some element of your relationship with your client, whether it's about your business, their person, their thing they're selling, or any combination of the above, will we ever be happy working with that client?
Well, there's so many things to get uncomfortable about, isn't there?
Yeah, there are, and actually that would bring us back to those people in those groups that weren't cracking on. They're the buts. We've got to crack on despite we've not got to be untrue to ourselves, but we've got to crack on despite misgivings, and if they are never resolved, then we might have a thorny decision to make. But by and large, they are.
Yeah, they do resolve themselves. I think within. I mean, you must know. Those clients that perhaps you weren't, sure about at the beginning. How long does it generally take to become more sure about them in a positive way?
It can be quite a long time, actually, 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say, 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
So I think as business people, if we can sit with discomfort for 3 to 6 months, we'll know the outcome at the end of 6 months, won't we? We'll know whether the client's
if not before. Yes, I think sometimes I've got to override various emotions. I can't think of ones where, how people often say, "I always knew." I can't think of many examples where it hasn't ended well, and I've gone, "I've always known, and I shouldn't have done wrong."
Yeah.
But I was anxious about this guy on Monday, and he was grilled, and he passed, so I let him in, and I think that felt congruent to me.
Yeah, you've got to put exactly. That's what I'm doing in my interview process for new clients now as well. You've got to what is it? Stelly says, "Ha! Managed to get him in."
No, I am going to start fining you for mentions of Stelly. I mean, if he sponsored the podcast, it would be a different matter. But you're behaving as if he does, Nicola.
His daily doses of sales motivation are just awesome. And he says that discomfort is a sign that you're about to do something good. All success happens outside your comfort zone. So,
yeah, of course. Yes.
So you've got to really. Good stuff. Word of the week?
Diversification.
Woo! Get you.
Yeah. Now it's the other side of the coin of focus, of course, and I don't want to discourage my newbie little starter clients from diversifying. I want them to focus.
Yeah.
But I'm in the middle of a massive amount of diversification and loving every moment of it at the moment. So that's my word of the week.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we don't consult in advance on these things, do we? We just come to these calls with our prompt sheets filled in.
Indeed.
And my word of the week is push (on through). So crack on.
I crack on. Yeah. Push on through. Push on through could be my alternative title for my autobiography, actually.
Yeah. Well, I like let's crack on, shall we?
Yeah.
That's very Bill Bryson-esque, isn't it? It's very good.
Crack on.
Yeah. And so push on through the discomfort. Push on through. I mean, even when I was sending out my 50 emails to my cosmetic dentist, I had to stop myself. I had all sorts of feelings about it. I felt bad that I wasn't addressing people by name. I couldn't be bothered to go and 50. It would take ages to find 50 dentist names and the proper emails. I thought, no, I'm just going to push on through. I'm just going to send a nice, friendly, open-ended email and just see what happens to get myself over this discomfort. So push on through is my word of the week.
Well, there's 3 words, isn't it? You see, cheat.
Yeah, well, it's brackets, so don't count.
Okay. Right. Well. Now, come on, give us your project update, because you've alluded to it twice now.
Okay, all right. Well, Profit Accumulator, our betting thing is.
Yeah.
I'm averaging £30 a day, £900 a month, 1,500.
No, you're doing well. You're doing very well. You're a leader in that group. Well done.
I tell you, I think I know what I'm doing, which is that I'm rolling my money through every day. And sometimes I end up with profits there that I didn't expect. And I can't quite work out how that's happening, because if you put your numbers into the calculator and it says you should make or save, make or lose 18p on this if it wins and 18p if it loses at the thing, sometimes you end up making more profit. And I can't.
Yeah, sometimes I do as well. And afterwards, I'd like you to tell me what you mean about rolling your money through every day, or whatever it was.
Yeah, I do. Well, I think it's keeping your money moving, isn't it? We all know that wealth loves speed and action. So I'm just keeping my money moving, and sometimes I come across little unexpected profits doing that, and I think that's how it's working. But I can't quite still, and we need to have a conversation about this as well, work out if it's actually worth my time. I spent an hour this morning putting my bets on, and if I make £30 to profit today, I might make 80, I might make 100. I've done that before. Is £30 an hour a good use of my time? I don't know if it is for me.
Only if it's fun. 30 times 30 would be 900 a month. If an hour a day of your time is worth 900 a month, well, it's not if we look at it like that, because somebody brought that point up somewhere on Facebook. I make 40 quid an hour doing. Yeah, but you've got to, in our other areas, you've got to do marketing and deal with clients. What we all like about this is we're self-reliant, and it's still fun, isn't it?
Oh yes,
you said the night before last, didn't you? Oh my God, I'm on so much football, or something bizarre.
I had a quite sophisticated bet on a home draw, and I've got no idea what a home draw is. I think it means that the home team draw. No idea.
Well, they can't, can they?
What they can't?
Well, if it's a draw whether they're home or away.
Yeah, good point. So what's an away draw then? Oh, well, you have to find out afterwards, won't we?
I have no idea. But anyway.
Do we need to know? I don't know if I do.
Well, that's the interesting thing. We just crack on. No, we do nothing, but we're making money at it. Yeah.
Okay, so here's my other project updates. I've incorporated this new turning Google page one traffic into leads into my business. Got it on the front page. Sent 50 inquiries out to cosmetic dentists. I'm about to do divorce lawyers, and then I might do independent financial advisors. And then I also just popped a little notice on my Facebook page and my LinkedIn. And I sent an email out to my mailing list, 5,000 people, 10% open, so 500 people looked at it. And I've already secured 3 clients.
Oh, very good. Paying you how much?
100, nothing for the first month, because I made the silly mistake of offering it for 30-day free trial, just because I want some testimonials, basically, and case studies. So, £100 a month thereafter for a minimum of 3 months, and it's a rolling contract after that. But it definitely, one of them is a criminal lawyer up north, and he's got a page one Google website for most of the specialties that he works in. And he does get an awful lot of traffic. And it led on to him asking me about, could I run his Google AdWords for him?
So why does he see this as valuable? Is he growing his business? He doesn't have enough business yet, or what?
Yeah, well, he's, some solicitors and accountants are quite happy with the clients they've got, but some in partnerships particularly, I think they're always looking to make more profits. Because, they have to make more profits for the whole business and all the partners, and then it gets divvied up. So I think they're a bit hungrier. So there you go. There's an insight into the kind of lawyers I would go after now is partnerships.
Yes.
And
hungry is a good word, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But no, it was brilliant because it was a bolt on to my existing business. It's actually a lovely little lead product, because he then went on to ask me to do his AdWords and social media and all that.
What's really nice is it's a genius little business idea, a profit centre, and it just came to you in a blinding flash.
Well, a blinding flash of listening to a webinar, which I wouldn't normally be doing because I'm trying to have more social time. but no, it worked great. So that's my project update. What about you?
Well, profit accumulation, I'm not doing as well as you. I'm only about 500 a month. I've been slightly had my head turned by this tips group that I'm in. And now that it's the term again, I won't be able to work nearly as hard at it as we did in August. I do have a little slot in my diary every day, but sometimes all I can do is put the tip on that I'm getting rather than put 5 bets on for profit accumulator. But anyway, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with our little group. I'm happy with the affiliate income that's growing for me out of it. And I'm chuffed that I'm being remunerated for having found that idea and brought it to our community, and that everybody's enjoying it, particularly people. There are people in our group that started off coaching with me and either weren't very well, so couldn't commit to growing a business, but I can now see them growing a nice little income, and I find that very heartwarming, actually. And Be Wise Trader, which I'm in, I'm loving. I'm now, I don't know, 8 or 9 weeks into that and about to buy another pack. Lovely. But I'm also exploring 2 to 3 serious networking and affiliate marketing opportunities. What I'm looking for is a passive income. And what's fascinating is a development in the world of networking, or they call it networking now rather than network marketing, is that they've invented systems. You like this. They've invented systems to compensate for the fact that most people don't make any money in network marketing. So they invite you to buy traffic.
Really? So,
yes.
Hang on a second. So when you say most money, people don't make money in network marketing, do you mean, well, we know
well,
that.
Let's imagine the typical scenario of Amway or something. 80% of people never make any money. We know that. They start full of optimism and they can't bring themselves to make a sale, a bit like the people you were describing earlier.
Yeah.
If you can't make a sale, you can't make a sale, can you?
Yeah.
Even though those of us that can make sales don't think of it as selling, we think of it as introducing people. Yeah, helping people and introducing people to little bits of gorgeousness, whatever you called it last week. We don't think of it as selling, and also, we don't take the knock back if it's no.
Yeah, we don't.
But everybody else does. So all the nice little people who hope they might make some pocket money in Avon or Forever Living or something like that mostly don't. And some of those cynical business models know perfectly well that quite a lot of their income comes from people buying in. That's the postman, isn't it? People buying in at that introductory level and not going any further. However, the ones that I'm involved with now have leaders who've worked out that that it behoves them to make their downline successful by either organising a paid and unpaid, a combination of paid and unpaid traffic, which will guarantee it, or sort of doing the work for their downline in a funny sort of way. Because if you're in all of these things have these compensation plans, which are either a matrix of 5 across and 6 down, or binary where you've got 2 legs. I'm beginning to understand a bit about this now. And for a leader, there's no point in continuing to add people to yours. It makes more sense to stick more people underneath you.
Yeah, because the minute other people have a taste of success and see things happening, they're much more motivated to take action.
That's exactly right. So the model has slightly moved, Nicola, to being run by beneficent team leaders who pretty much guarantee your success.
Oh, interesting.
I know. So I'm more on that in future weeks because I'm just scoping. I'm quite keen on 2 of them, and I'm in 3 of them. I just haven't worked out what the 3rd one is yet. But once they start working, which is anything between 7 and 30 days, I'll be able to report back real statistics there.
Okay, because I am looking for an MLM opportunity.
Oh, well, I've got some really nice ones. I'll show you later.
Good. I'll tell you why, because I've just reorganised my entire Infusionsoft funnel, and at some point when people haven't bought anything of mine, I ask them what they're interested in. And
you told me about that, and it's been on my mind ever since you've said it, actually, Nicola.
Well, you'll be glad to hear, Judith, that I actually have now directed people who click that link to your new blog post about all the different ways to make money.
Oh. You are a love. Now, but we need to buddy up on this because there's a divine marriage here, isn't there, of you handling the online traffic and me running the team.
Yes, there would be a divine, because I don't want to run teams, as you know.
No, I love running teams, as you know. Gorgeous. Okay. So let's move on. Who or what's impressed you this week?
Oh, my daughter Phoebe. She spent the whole day yesterday.
Phoebe, yeah. Second only to Steliefti in featuring in this.
No.
I don't resent Phoebe because she's a lovely girl.
Well, she is just watching someone grow up is just such a treat. It really is. And then you've got your nephews and nieces, I know, and you feel like them as well. Watching them turn into confident young adults is quite astonishing. She went and spent the whole day yesterday in the Greyhound Stadium, in Coral Greyhound Stadium. It was incidental, nothing to do with the betting. She was learning how to become a licensee, because they've asked her at the pub where she works and also where...
See, I think that's quite a fun idea. You mentioned that 2 or 3 weeks ago about Phoebe. I think that's quite a fun idea. It's a very, very grown-up thing, being a licensee, isn't it?
It is. And you have to be very responsible. And the pub she works at knows she's a responsible young lady. And she has spent a whole day yesterday, and she's quietly confident. She says that she's passed her personal licensee exam, which means that she can travel anywhere in the world and be a licensee. And she's also got her boyfriend is a very cute young man, and his dad is equally cute in an older way. They're both with one of the big model agencies in London. He said to her, "Do you want me to send your pics in?" So she's got no idea. I mean, she's watched. I'm not joking. She must have watched about 500 episodes of America's Next Top Model, so she sort of knows what to do. But she said, "Yes, go on then. Send my pictures in." And she's she's really coming out of herself. She's really trying.
When she was younger, she did want to be a model, didn't she?
She did. She always has done. That's one thing. And she has got the physique for it, that's for sure. But she was shy and she didn't really want to push herself forward. But what I can see now is growing confidence and her willingness to go, again, the theme of discomfort. She's willing to push herself out of her comfort zone now, which is very exciting, and I love watching it. What about you then?
Well, I had my first group session yesterday with Small Business Big Magic. None of the newbies yet because I haven't inducted them, but there was a good turnout because it was the beginning of term. And two things that you know how it's a bit like what you said earlier about we don't rehearse what we're going to talk about, but how often there's crossover. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, one girl said something I really liked, woman. She said, "I'm going to set up some spreadsheets." I went, "Oh, I love that moment when you start caring about your money so much to start filling out spreadsheets." There's a lot of spreadsheet talk yesterday, which is lovely. But the zeitgeist thing was how many people wanted to talk about property, even though actually we're supposed to be working on their business. As I discover that somebody's been given notice by her landlord that her business premises are changing ownership, and then we had a debate about whether you would buy it or not. 2 people revealed that they were buy-to-let landlords, and blah, blah, blah. There was just a lot of property issues yesterday. And back to my word of the week, diversification. I like that because if you're only building a business, you've got all your eggs in one basket, haven't you?
Yes, and I think that I'm noticing much more property talk as well. So I think perhaps the whole fingers burnt thing is wearing off now, and we're coming into another property.
Maybe. I thought yesterday's call was just people waking up and going, I'm going to spreadsheet my income and expenditure and manage my cash flow, and I'm going to look at, now here I am sitting on this asset, what am I going to do about it? Should we buy? Should we invest? And I just thought both of them are quite grown up.
So the theme of Who or What's Impressed is growing up.
Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And yeah, cool, good.
All right, well, let's see how zeitgeisty we can get next week, shall we?
Yes. Okay.
All right, see you soon. Bye.
Okay, bye.
You've been listening to Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. The podcast is called Own It, Your Business and Your Life. Do come and visit us at ownitthepodcast.com. We love to hear your feedback. You can find out more about Judith and visit her on her website at judithmorgan.com, and you can find Nicola at nicolacairncross.com.